People, Deluded, I'm back again. Now, I've been browsing Twitter. I've checked on The Athletic and I actually can't find a report, but there are some comments from James McNicholas, I believe is obviously a writer for The Athletic, and in a boring and dull period where there's no football and we're void of our passion, we might as well go through it, Arsenal fans. Now, the first thing, allegedly, Arsenal have paused their summer transfer plans to deal with the coronavirus. Last thing heard is that the club was planning to return to South America for summer transfer signings, as they feel they have a slight advantage in that market. Now, for me personally, how much of an advantage you can have in today's day and age, I don't know. Everybody's looking at the same players. Everybody's got the analytics. Everybody is simply looking in places just because you're looking. And that's what makes sense. Logically, you know, if Barcelona, I mean not Barcelona, if Chelsea, Arsenal, if Chelsea, United, Spurs, the rest of the top six are going to, you know, Brazil to go and watch a certain Brazilian club all the time, then Arsenal, we'd be concerned if we wasn't. What is over there? Same way we don't just follow people, we have our own strategies. You need to look everywhere. And it's simply more so about, obviously it helps to be first. Obviously it helps to have better relations with clubs, agents, and the many different people you meet in football. But it's about projects. It's about convincing players. The word advantage is subjective, but considering Martinelli served us well, it seems it was a collaborative effort to source a left-sided centre-half, and whoever pinpointed Marie, or, you know, it seems like everybody worked together for that. So if that's the sort of thing we're going to follow, we're going to find some experienced players with a point to prove in the European game. If we're going to find, you know, it can't always be a Martinelli. Sometimes it's got to be a shrewd addition, someone that can just do a job in the team. Of course, I would love another Martinelli and bear with these young Brazilian kids where we can talk about till we're blue in the face about their potential. But if that can help us source players for the future, source players for the short, long and medium term, like players that can immediately impact us, obviously save us a few bob with, and who knows, people, and it's also mentioned in here with the coronavirus and not playing football, the financial implications. And you always hear Arsenal for the last couple of summers, in relation to signings. There's always something to do with finances, and because this happened, we can't do this sort of thing, people. So, you know, if that's what we want to do, and for me, more or less, if there's a strategy to what we want to do, and that we're specifically targeting South America and it's a collaborative thing, then fair play, I'm on that. That's what I've been calling for. Of course, we will miss out on players. As you lot know, in relation to the UK, Arsenal, we're at a disadvantage of teams like, if I just look at Benfica and, I don't know, Shakhtar Donetsk, two teams which always seem to have a good repertoire with South American talents. For Benfica, Luiz, Di Maria, we could sit here all day, people. Do you get what I'm saying? Shakhtar Donetsk, they're able to exploit the loan market system. I mean, the relaxed work permits, and you see a lot of players go off to Shakhtar and then go on and source other areas of their career in stronger leagues. So we're at a disadvantage in that. But if it can help us in some way, then of course I'm fully on that, people. And I mean, most logical fans, I'm sure you would agree. And again, none of this is facts. It just appears that it's his opinion, but he's gone on to say, I'd like to think that Arteta will evolve Arsenal's midfield. I think the current system is a consequence of trying to squeeze Ozil into the team, and I'm not sure that's sustainable in the long term. I think a bit of that's true. Clearly Arteta likes him, but I also disagree really and truly, because who knows? You've seen him play Joe Willock and Ceballos. Maybe he wants them in his side, and that it might be a consequence of how he wants to play. For me, just my own bias is you've got a box-to-box and a defensive mid or a deep line, and you've got a creative midfielder sort of thing, people. That's just me. Clearly, Ozil is not sustainable long-term, because he's just simply not a player we can count on week in, week out for all his quality, and as much as I like him, and age isn't on his side, so it's not sustainable in the long term either. And obviously his contract. He's gone on to say as well, and which really concerns me a bit, is he said, I think Arsenal will be much more concerned with addressing the centre of the midfield than the defence. They've already set up a deal for Marie, and Saliba's returning from loan. And I fully get that. It makes more logical sense. We've got a lot of bodies. There's a question to be said over quantity versus quality, but there's a sheer amount of bodies and a wealth of options at centre-half, if you could say that. Midfield, we are light. Torreira's injury, who are we playing? You've got Guendouzi, who's lost his place. You've got Joe Willock, who's still learning the trade. You've obviously got Ceballos, who's not here long term, but having a decent side. Xhaka seems to be playing well and is one of the, you know, the men Arteta wants to rely on. But what if Xhaka gets injured? Do you see what I'm saying? God forbid, touch wood. I know Maitland-Niles is spoken of having an opportunity there. We're not going to get into it. You know what's his current situation. So we do need a central midfielder. I would like 2 central midfielders. It's not sustainable. I would like a centre mid, 2 centre mids, a centre half, and potentially a wide forward. It can't all happen in one window. It's not going to happen. I think we need a centre half. I'm of the feeling of quality over quantity, and again, not everything can be done in one window. Credit to I'm not going to get into it, but a lot of players have been in good form, playing quite well. But can you honestly say that's going to be the case a year from now, when football begins again? If it begins again, you couldn't. You know, credit to Socrates, he's been playing well, but could we potentially move him on? Mustafi's been in decent form. Could you move him on? Contract 2021 as well. Bring in a proper centre half. Do you know what I'm saying, people? And go with a Saliba, the proper centre half. Credit to Luiz, he's been alright. Decision will have to be made on Chambers if he comes back and he's able to play, because I think if he was fit, Arteta might have used him. Mavropanos is on loan. Is he ready? Will he be ready? Are we gonna, you know, just loan him out so he becomes better, so we can sell him for more? Or is there a plan behind him and we're gonna send him out on loan or develop him for a couple of years? If not, you know, move that on. I'm a big fan of Holding, and again, his injury might be playing some part, but on the face of it, as a fan, I've seen, you know, I don't see you about. Like, you're not about at all. Bellerin's barely fit, and he deserved to be dropped because he's been in poor form. But I've seen him more local than I've seen you. I ain't seen Holding, and I think Holding's a player. Listen, we was talking about Holding. I was talking about Holding for England. I think if Holding was playing on a regular basis, based on some of their centre halves, he is naive. He's got a lot to learn, but there's no reason he couldn't get in the thoughts of Southgate. Long way away from that, people. So a decision has to be made on the likes of Holding as well. Do you sell Holding and Chambers? Do you keep them because they're homegrown? Do you keep them for the squad? A decision has to be made in particular around Socrates, Mustafi and Luiz. Now, and I keep forgetting, Marie's here allegedly to stay permanently now. I say Luiz. I think Luiz would be the one who should and could stay because he's been in good form, seems to be a leader, seems to be one of Arteta's trusted men, contracted until 2021. Bought fairly recently. The club must have concluded he would run down his deal here. Mustafi got age on his side. He's actually prime age and looking like the centre half we wanted him to be when we grabbed him from Valencia. But like I keep saying, the cynic in me could say, you know, if we've tried to move him on several windows, there's no better time than to sell him. Where to want potential suitors, his contract's running down, so you might get a deal, sort of thing. And all of them sort of things there. Socrates, I think he's done decent, but it could be a case of simply just moving man on because of his age, because of his contract, because of other plans, sort of thing. And he said he's a competitor, he wants to play football. He's probably look at his situation and ask himself, honestly, how much is he going to play? You know, he's been playing, you just want to play and get out there, and he's done quite well at right back. But I'm sure if everybody was fit, he might be marginalised in that regards. I'm sure if Maitland-Niles was behaving himself and actually accepted that role, he wouldn't get first team football there. And, you know, if I'm saying bring in other centre halves, Holding, come back from injury, Chambers, this, other, that, Socrates has to look at his age and think, am I going to play significantly? Because you get the tone, you get the vibe from him based on what he said, that he still wants to continue being a regular versus squad player. You know, I play my part and all of these sort of things. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he just seems like he wants to continue playing week in, week out until he's unable. Versus some players might accept a reduced role in the side and less importance and focus on, you know, excelling in other areas, being more of a vocalist in the change rooms and all of these sort of things there, people. Moving away from that, let me see if anything else has been added or if I can see anything, people. We've already mentioned this. Apparently Real Madrid are believed to want as much as 40 million euros for Dani Ceballos permanently. Obviously, it's difficult to predict how transfer values might be affected by the current financial crisis. Now, we've been over the Ceballos one, so I'm not going to get over that. I'm not going to go over that again, people. And yeah, man, I'm sure you lot have got your opinions on that one there. But in short, it's nice to see. For me, the most promising thing is that simply that we're targeting South America and targeting emerging markets and trying to get the players of tomorrow, because we've got to go out and get these players before they become household names or it's just a problem for us. On that note, people, it's been a lovely talk with you guys, but I'm going to get out of it. DG, I'm out.